Solidarity forever. United we stand. Divided we fall.
I'm called Abima Stephen, the Deputy Secretary General of National Organization of Trade Unions, NOTU. Today, we're here in Eureka with the women. We're empowering the women with various skills, which include financial literacy, social dialogue, and also discussing with them the issue of C190, about harassment at work. Based on that, viewers, the women have a lot to do in our communities, in our society, in trade unions. And the workers in very many places need this kind of empowerment so that they can be able to articulate issues at workplace, issues of harassment, issues of financial literacy, issues of social dialogue, so that everything moves smoothly in the labor fraternity. Therefore, we encourage them to take the course very seriously so that they will apply it wherever it is necessary to protect the workers' rights.
Of how the honorables struggled so much, many of you, to become part of this. How you have struggled to make everybody become aware about this. Not about only money, but about development, about self-sustenance, about self-independence, and many things that we concern and we talk about when we talk about money.
My name is Agnes Kimwatuoki, chairperson for NOTU Women. Today, we had a very fruitful workshop, especially when we are able to have all our women from all our affiliates, the leaders, to discuss the issues of C190 and to see a way forward, and also to get recommendation from them. These laws, when the C190 was ratified, it's not yet domesticated. And even the unions don't know what it's all about. We have many good laws already in place, but most of our workers, especially even the women, they don't know. So as leaders, women leaders who have come today, so with at least they have got the highlight of C190 and what is already required of them to ensure that in their CBAs they should ensure that they slot in that policy, and also as we urge government to domesticate the law. Indeed, when you look at C190, it entails a lot of good laws and policies within, and if it's being domesticated and people using it, especially the workers, for sure we shall curb gender-based violence and also especially sexual harassment at workplaces. And women have shared experiences, women leaders from all our affiliates who have come today. They have shared their experiences and what they are going through, and we're encouraging them to make recommendations which they have made, which are going to help us as NOTU to ensure that we beef up our policy. Of recent, we passed our gender policy, and of which after many years, actually it's the first of its kind since NOTU was born. And we are so proud of that during our time, and with the support of our able leaders of NOTU, so our Secretary General, Chairman General, and the team, for sure, they are for women. They have ensured that we participate, everyone participate, all the stakeholders participate in formulation and this policy, and which we have passed.
My name is Lanyero Faith Irene. I'm the Deputy Secretary General, General Duties, Women Affairs, National Organization of Trade Unions. We are here today for a very important cause in line with the women participation and effective inclusion for this very wonderful annual Women's Conference that has ended today. The specific reasons as to why we were here today, we were discussing matters of financial literacy and also Convention 189 on domestic workers, including Convention 190 on violence and harassment. A number of things have been discussed and pushed ahead. There has been a lot of discussions ranging from issues of how women can be effectively included in community savings and better entrepreneurial skills that are in place for all the women workers who are visible in this country. And then there was a very important urge on the domestication of Convention 190 on violence and harassment within the different workplaces and the workplace levels, because apparently there are various policies that need to be integrated and inclusive enough to capture the issue of Convention 190 on harassment and violence. And there were also discussions coming in from the floor, from the various women in regard to issues of capacity building alongside building better effective policies within our different organizations in regard to violence and harassment. On the aspect of Convention 189 on domestic workers, of course Uganda hasn't yet ratified the convention, so there is need for the labor movement and especially women workers to push vigorously for the Convention 189 to be ratified. As a country on domestication, definitely the country has ratified the Convention 190, which is a big milestone for the country. So currently the domestication is more on the stakeholders to be able to push it forward. And especially for the trade union arena, we need to have inclusive policies that will be able to integrate the issue of the Convention 190 into our own union policies and other structures. And then as a country, definitely, the domestication is very, very important in one or another, so that there is need to create more awareness on that, and especially with other stakeholders like the police, who are always handling issues of harassment within the different workspaces and within our communities. So there is need to bring in actors on board to be able to integrate this into our different communities and workplaces. And then something else which is very important, that our current laws need to also be structured in a way that they capture a lot of interventions that are coming from Convention 190 on violence and harassment. So that is the specific structure where we are right now as a country. There is need for capacity building, grassroots capacity building for women workers and all the stakeholders who are involved right within our communities, because violence and harassment cuts across right from the workplaces to our communities.
My name is Virunja Annette. I'm the General Secretary, Uganda Nurses and Midwives Union. Today at Eureka here in Kampala, Eureka Hotel, we gathered as women leaders in this country to discuss about prevention of harassment at work. We gathered to also look at the laws which protect a worker at home. So today we are trying to sensitize people, to tell them that right now we need all of us to be sensitized. Leaders need to be sensitized so that we extend information to other people who are working. First of all, we looked at the law itself. Which people does it cover? We found out that everyone is supposed to be protected, either whether in the informal sector or formal. All of them should be protected. We also looked at people who are not having contracts. This law covers them. And it is very, very important that all workplaces develop policies which can help to implement this law. Therefore, we need to call upon all the leaders to make sure that in every workplace, they supervise all workplaces to see that the laws, the policies, the regulations, all of them are observed by both the employer and the employee. Among other people who came in this workshop, it was people from NSSF. They came to educate us about financial literacy, and we were trying to see how do we relate financial literacy with prevention of harassment. And we found out that if people are not empowered, they cannot prevent harassment. So NSSF wrote very well the reasons why people should save. We were told that you cannot eat all the money. You have to save some, at least on 10%, save 3%, eat 1%, so that you enjoy, you also save, but also you make sure you do other things that can develop the families and other people around you.
Today we have had a meeting here that has brought together representatives from the different trade unions affiliated to the National Organization of Trade Unions. The purpose of this meeting has been to try and examine Convention 190, which largely addresses itself on the subject of domestic violence. And normally, every time a convention is passed by the ILO, it is a requirement that the member countries ratify for it to be domesticated. Now, for us as trade unions, we think this convention is fundamentally very important in ensuring that questions of domestic violence are comprehensively dealt with. We have advocated and continue advocating that this convention ought to be ratified. Of course, the administrative mechanisms do exist through which government must be able to observe to ensure that the convention is domesticated. But sometimes, as you are well aware, government can sometimes be quite slow in the process of domestication. Now we are trying to raise this aspect with a view of ensuring that we appeal to government to act fast to ensure the convention is domesticated. That is the very reason why we are looking forward to cooperation of government now that the members have met and they have passed a resolution on what ought to be done.